Her movies have grossed over $14 billion. She's won over 138 awards, and she was the highest paid actress for both 2018 and 2019. Today, it's all about Scarlett Johansson and how she amassed $165 million. Born in Manhattan in 1984, Johansson got the acting bug from a young age. As a child, she would put on acting and dance routines for her family. Along with tap dancing lessons, her parents enrolled her in an acting school for young children. At the ripe old age of 9 years old, she made her film debut in the 1994 comedy North, starring Elijah Wood. If you've never heard of this movie, then consider yourself lucky. The famous movie critic Robert Ebert definitely had a few choice words to say about this film.
And I quote, "I hated this movie. Hated this movie. Hated it. Hated every simpering, stupid, vacant, audience-insulting moment of it." Unquote, and so on. Altogether, I used the word hated 10 times.
Now, with an estimated budget between $40 and $50 million, this movie only brought in $12 million. 2 years later, Johansson would find herself in her first leading role. Manny and Lo was released in 1996 and tells the story of two sisters. This was a low-budget indie film with an estimated cost of $500,000 to make. Worldwide, though, it went on to gross $502,000. While this film wasn't a huge moneymaker, it did show that Johansson could handle the pressure of being a leading role. For her performance in this film, she did get nominated for Best Female Lead by the Independent Spirit Awards. While she didn't win, it was definitely impressive to just be nominated at such a young age. From here, Johansson kept starring in more and more movies, getting leading role after leading role. Just some of her earlier film credits include My Brother the Pig, Ghost World, and An American Rhapsody. The highest grossing film of her career so far would come in 2003. Lost in Translation is a drama comedy starring one of the best, Bill freaking Murray, ladies and gentlemen. Wielding a budget of just $4 million, worldwide, this movie went on to gross $118 million. This is a 29 times multiplication of the original budget. Definitely a nice return on their investment. Johansson was nominated for 9 different awards for her performance here, and won 4 of them, including Best Actress. 2004 was a very busy year for the actress, being a part of 8 different productions. Now, these range from movies like The Perfect Score to a guest appearance on the TV show Entourage, and even a voice acting role in both the SpongeBob movie and tie-in video game, where she played King Neptune's daughter, Mindy. This is the most appearances that the actress has had in a single year, and while none of these films were massive successes, she definitely expanded her portfolio. Fun fact, the SpongeBob movie was her best film this year, making $141 million on a $30 million estimated budget. Now, this film did have the legendary David Hasselhoff himself though, so it's not too surprising that the film did so well. After an extremely busy 2004, she would only be in 2 films for 2005. Match Point has the actress working with the one and only Woody Allen. This film was rather successful, bringing in $85 million on a $15 million budget. The Island was Johansson's other 2005 film. Directed by the king of explosions himself, Michael Bay, this film had a huge budget of $126 million. Worldwide though, it only grossed $162 million, which is rather surprising considering the sheer star power behind this film. Sean Bean, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Steve Buscemi are just a few of the A-list talent in this film. Following these 2 films, she would be in a few others here and there each year, with not many being huge successes or major flops. That was until a little film in 2010. It was called Iron Man 2, starring Robert Downey Jr. This one turned a $200 million budget into $623 million. Here, Johansson debuts in the superhero universe as the one and only Black Widow. Fun fact, this was her only movie in 2010. Now, it's no secret that the Marvel Cinematic Universe basically prints money, but let's do a quick rundown of all the Marvel movies that she was in. As we mentioned before, she was in Iron Man 2, but she was also in Avengers, Captain America Winter Soldier, Age of Ultron, Captain America Civil War, Avengers Infinity War, and Avengers Endgame. The budget for these 7 movies totals over $1.7 billion. In total, they grossed an absolutely insane $10.2 billion. And this is just from 7 films. If you want a breakdown of each and every MCU film, be sure to hit that subscribe button and leave a comment down below. After the success of Iron Man 2, Johansson's definitely cemented herself as a major player in Hollywood. Starring in different movies such as We Bought a Zoo, Hitchcock, Her, Lucy, Sing, Ghost in the Shell, and Jojo Rabbit, to name just a few of the massive blockbusters that she's been in since 2010. Out of these, money-wise, Lucy and Sing take the top spots. Lucy had a modest budget of just $40 million and was able to bring in $458 million grossed in theaters. Sing cost almost double that with a $75 million price tag, but it did bring in more at over $634 million. While these weren't into the Marvel level of money, they were definitely a pretty penny. Speaking of Marvel, Johansson has another movie coming out soon, Black Widow. With an estimated budget of $200 million, this film is most likely going to be another big moneymaker for Marvel. How much money do you think it's going to make? Be sure to let us know with a comment down below. Another film she has planned is Sing 2. Now this film is set for release in late 2021, so we don't really have a budget for it yet. But with the first Sing costing $75 million, we're going to estimate between a $70 and $100 million price tag. The first one was very successful, so that's why we personally think that they're going to be willing to spend a little more to help push that big release. With the net worth of $165 million, Scarlett Johansson does not look like she's going to slow down anytime soon. A last minute fun fact for you is if we took all $165 million of her net worth and put it in $1 bills, it would weigh over 181 tons, or more than 30 African elephants. What's your favorite movie of hers? Personally, I'm a huge fan of her Marvel appearances, and I can't wait to see the new Black Widow film. For the Financial Fixation, once again, I'm your host Dom. Thank you for watching, and I can't wait to see you in the next video.